okay. I talked about Emmy's route. Now it's time to talk about Rin's route. Okay, I have a lot to say about Rin's route. Well, kind of. I just finished it, so it's taking a bit to seep in, but like from the start of Katawa Shoujo, from just Act One, not even when I knew about like how do I get in the roots, I really liked Rin because she was like utter nonsense, right? He spouts absolute nonsense to people. He's like, and you're like, whoa, what is she talking about? Right? She's what people would say is weird, even in a school like Yamaka High School, where it's obviously geared towards the disabled people. I think there's a little bit of discussion on Reddit like Rin actually is like diagnosed autistic or something like that, and a developer himself says that Rin is not have any realistic basis in real life. But I can see that, like, obviously, Rin is Rin. I don't think Rin is like. I'm not like an expert in this, but I do think Rin is just a little bit like. It's just a person without much direction in life. That's the kind of basis of her, right? Let's talk about Rin Tezuka. Rin Tezuka, my favorite Katawa Shoujo character heroine as so far, which is an amazing character. You know, I have a soft spot for like stories I talk about drawing. You know, I'm a really bad artist, as in I haven't drawn in like years. But to me, it's not a meaningless pursuit. In Katawa Shoujo, Rin is basically just she's armless, right? I know I didn't talk about like Emi's disability in Katawa Shoujo because the game obviously makes it clear that like their disability does not define them at all. It's more like there's so much to talk about in the root besides that, and then often that's never even a problem. So, for Rin's primary motivation is just to paint, right? To draw and paint. And the romance is very tricky to talk about because it really isn't a thing until the end. And here's the thing: Rin's route is primarily about her learning to be not alone. Not alone, right? Hisawa first gets to know her. Like Hisawa just hangs out with Rin, like not like normal people. Ugh. They just hang out like spacing out, look at the windows, look at the skies. It's a very peaceful, tranquil like moments, and I really like that about that. Because whereas like Hisawa and Emi get to know each other by engaging in physical activity, and I'm not just talking about running, okay? Legit, because Rin and Hisawa get to know each other in just very like quiet moments, and which is why I'm gonna talk about the bad end first. So for Rin's route, what happens is she gets like roped into this exhibition stuff the art teacher tries to get into, and it's obvious from the start Rin really does not care about showing off her work to other people. What Rin likes is the draw, is the paint, right? Because that's the only thing she's good at, and because she can't do anything else, she feels that like it's something she has to represent herself in through painting. And this is the crux of like, okay, one thing I do think it's like understandable, and like the one thing you can tell this was kind of written by 4chan is that like, and like obviously Rin is represented as a great character. I don't think she's like the story ever like demonizes her way of thinking, but Hisawa is like really insufferable in this route because the crux of Rin's route is like that like Hisawa can never understand her, but it's really off-putting for me because he always like always like never tries to like understand Rin, and that's the point, right? Like he can never fully understand Rin, and neither can Rin fully understand why he's always so sad, right? But it really puts me off because I guess because every time like Rin says something that clearly makes a lot of sense, like Rin says, oh, if I don't do anything but draw, then I feel like I can't be myself. And I was like, I don't get what you're talking about. I don't understand. Like, what? That's a very simple thing to understand. I think you're just a little slow, dude. Like, for someone who reads, you clearly can't read people. That kind of thing. And this kind of attitude doesn't change significantly by the end of the route, But something other thing does change. The reason you get the bad at is if you like choose the stupid choice of basically not paying attention to Ren, and like, every time there's like a choice that says, oh, maybe I should care about Ren, you basically say I care about Emmy actually. Like, it's really funny because when Hisao says he wants to change and let go of his past and stop being so dreary and sad about being in this new environment. Like, there's a choice that gives you the choice of being, oh, I want to be more like Rin, who does whatever she wants, whatever she wants, or I can be more like Emmy. And obviously, you're already in the Rin route. Like, not even the obvious, like, critical choice of choosing Rin, because Hisao probably, like, wants to do that instead. And it's like, oh, I should be more like Emmy, because she's, like, she basically overcame a disability. And so, like, well, dude, you're going on a hike with Rin. Like, be serious here. That kind of thing. Yeah. And the bad end is really devastating because, like, it happens right after the exhibition and, like, a day later or something. And after Hisao and Rin, like, did that one freaky thing. Like, it was after they like, took turns smoking, and then he, like, helped her out doing that thing. Kind of weird, but... yeah. After that, basically, if he decided to neglect Rin and tell her, like, what was the choice? It was something about neglecting Rin and basically not confronting her, right? If you don't confront her after you get in that big fight with her, and you don't try and find her, like, oh, she can be on her own, and then the bad end starts off like Hisao going to the art gallery. And he tries to find Rin or something. He finds Rin, and Rin basically tells him, "Why do you make me feel like I want to be like? Why do you make me feel like I want to be understood?" When Hisao clearly has no intent to understand or like, he just wants to support Rin. A big part of even before the bad end is like, Hisao is very frustrated at how Rin treats him like I think the term was amused to be painted or something. Essentially, she treats him like she doesn't ever consider her, like, his perspective, and Rin like the impression is that Rin is toying with Hisao on purpose. I don't think that's the case. As opposed to like Emmy, who like clearly knows what she's doing with, like, she strictly does not want to let Hisao know certain things about her past. Rin, I don't think Rin like sometimes has the capacity to say those words because the capacity to make the words make sense to Saul. I think the roots are kind of similar in this way. Like, Hisao wants to get to know Rin, but it's not just a single event that like defined her past, right? When Hisao gets close to Rin, he has to also get close to like everything about her, everything that comes out of her mouth, everything in her head. And I see the fact, like, okay, Shoujo says this is impossible because Rin is like a whole puzzle of her own, right? So I suppose the whole big part of the root is Hisao trying to figure out Rin, and the bad end happens because he doesn't really actually like care about her in that way. She cares about himself, and like he fell in love with Rin because she's a free-spirited person. And the bad end happens precisely because Hisao forces this idea of who Rin is on Rin very, very vehemently. So, and all Rin wants to do is not be alone. But how can that happen when Hisao is like trying to push her into something she isn't, right? The exhibition thing, Hisao sees progress and goals as a concrete thing. Rin doesn't. Rin really doesn't care that much about those stuff. She wants to paint. And because Hisao can't understand why, he doesn't understand how much painting means to her because he's not an artist. Which is like, it's kind of painful because he in this route, Hisao really dismisses this part of himself that's not an artist. I get it. He knows his limits. But since he thinks Rin doesn't, he always tries to be like patronizing to her and always tries to say, oh, you don't know the limits, you need to stop, you need to like, you need to take care of yourself, that kind of thing. Oh, but you also need to do this thing that you like. She obviously doesn't like, and Hisao tells her to do it. Like, okay, but Despite of that, the bad end is mostly because not only does he neglect her feelings, I think she also neglects his feelings. None of them in the bad end want to like understand each other. So then Rin moves to the art school in Tokyo, blah blah blah, and like they kind of split up in this really dramatic like scene in the rain. It's really it's kind of like really disheartening and sad, I would say. But yeah, and let's talk about the actual like part of the route that I got first, the good end. So I really like Rin because I don't know, it's kind of relatable because she stares off in the distance, often like thinking about her own business. She makes funny little things that like don't seem to make sense in the first place. She's left field. She's a left field person. And Hisao also likes that. Hisao likes that part of her that's like just does whatever she wants. But in the good end, he has to like come to terms with the fact that some people will never fully understand each other, and because of certain things, right? The things they want in life, the things they're good at, and of course, whether they're willing to change or not. That final thing is what they push through in Ren's route. In Ren's route, in the good end path, there's several big arguments. I think there's like at least like 3 big fights in this route. I think the first one is when Hisao goes back to the atelier to meet with Rin again, and Rin again. That's not a big. Oh yeah, no. Because if you choose a wrong choice, I chose the wrong choice in the first try at the neutral end. But if you choose the right choice and the next day, Rin's done with her painting before the exhibition, Rin like just struts up to Hisao's room expecting a kiss and stuff, and he's like, "Whoa, we had a big argument. We're like, what are you talking about?" So and then he like calls her out for like basically disregarding all his emotions, and clearly both of them are kind of wrong, right? Hisao gets angry because he expects Rin to be the sensible person, even clearly she's not a sensible person. Like, and this is her style and tone, right? She is an inconsiderate person. She's a very selfish person in a way. She just does whatever she wants whenever she wants, and she expects like people to get to know her that way. And Hisao can't keep up. At that point, this first big argument, he just thinks she thinks it's a lost cause than he and Rin. And then the exhibition starts, and obviously Rin's is not built for like other people flocking over to her and asking her about her paintings. Like, oh wow, what's your inspiration for this? Oh, what's the idea? And Rin does not like putting into words something that means like the world to her, right? Painting means everything to her, but for people to climb up and like ask like her reason to paint, it's stupid, right? Why would you ever do that? But Rin wants different things than what everyone else wants. Like success is not like in her dictionary, honestly. It's like she just wants to be happy painting, and eventually, really far in the route, Rin realizes that that's not all she wants, right? If she's happy painting, it's not enough for someone to just, like, if she's doing it all alone. I think a quote I really liked is that, like, you can obviously, something like that, you can obviously keep your own thoughts and emotions to yourselves, and that's fine, but eventually you're going to explode. Right? And so Katawa Shoujo outlines companionship in this way in the Winds really beautifully, because Rin is searching for that kind of thing. She wants a friend, an actual friend who understands her, and it's really hard for her because no one can fully understand her. Impossible, right? So I guess the second big fight she gets into is when the art teacher like scolds her for like, dude, I gave you everything, I taught you everything, and now you're throwing this all away because you don't want to do it because like you're not resolved to do it. And obviously the art teacher missed the point because Rin never like had the resolve to actually show off her work. She only had the resolve to paint, and not to actually show off her paintings and make the connections that she was expected to. And there's no right or wrong in like being yourself, and painting, right? But apparently, like, if you invest a lot of time in something you thought was gonna have a return on investment, and it turns out to be like from the start that was never meant anything, of course people are gonna be pissed off, right? It's kind of what happened with Hisao and Ring. Hisao really expected like a romantic relationship, and the end he admits. But like he can't even be, if he can't even be a good friend to Rin, what's the point? And he says this straight to Rin. I really like this moment because he says, "Rin, I can't be a good friend to you. How could I? How could I fully how do I try and understand you, support you when like I don't know what you're talking about half the time?" And this scene in the classroom, it's a culmination of events. It's a culmination of like, you know, Rin's art career just kind of like being thrown aside. She got scolded and like she finally realizes that like she's really alone. And like out of nowhere she just cries. Like it just happened. It wasn't like she's particularly sad. She kind of just realized like I'm trying to you just realized it was really hard for her to like keep painting without someone with her. It really tugs at heartstrings. I know it's a little dramatic. I know I'm not one for melodrama usually, but the scene where she was crying in the Hisao's chest and like they were in a really like uncomfortable embrace was really great. Because they both had to admit several things. Right? Hisao had to admit he was being a shitty friend, and Rin admits that like she's better off not having people fully understand her because her pursuit of trying to get people to understand her through her incomprehensible way of just showing her emotions through painting, which is only like something she can do. It's a futile struggle. The more she tries that, the more like people get away from her, as evidenced from Hisao. So they both admit they both admit the limits, and Rin finally cracks. Rin really just has had enough of like being alone and being special than different from everyone else. It's a great scene. I really like how Katawa Shoujo, despite like Hisao being a friggin' annoying, closed off bastard when it comes to Rin, eventually he matures up and he says, "Rin, we both kind of suck, but that's okay. Like, because despite that, if we know that we both suck, then we can like figure it out on our own, but also like watch each other do it, kind of thing." It's a little melancholic as a root. That's why I like it. Yeah. And then after that, like, it is probably the greatest H scene I've ever read in my life. I know the bar is really low because I read only Type Moon H scenes, but my lord, the Rin second H scene it's really beautiful. I was kind of shocked how great it was. I wasn't even like turned on by it. I don't think it was so good. I felt like aroused by it. I was like, whoa. I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful scene of intimacy. And also it's not like fully like intimate until like the end, because from the start, like Hisao realizes there's this distance between. I'm quoting things from the root, but Hisao realizes the distance between him and Rin is still apparent when they're like when they're both like half naked. And despite that, they both want it. They both want to like do each other, right? Oh, it's really funny. Like Rin asks him, "This isn't what friends are supposed to do," and Hisao says, and then she, yeah. What was it like? Oh yeah, Rin asks him like, who? I'm starting to. I'm pulling a Rin. Look, something about like friends aren't supposed to do this, and I think Rin says, Rin asks, "Are you gonna stop being my friend because of this?" And Hisao says, "Nah." Oh yeah, that's how it went. Yeah. I think Rin says this isn't how friends are supposed to be. She asks, "Oh, are you gonna stop being my friend?" And then like, "Come on, you two, you literally stripping each other." And then Hisao says, "Nah." I repeat myself, but and it really wouldn't matter. And then Rin says it wouldn't matter if you stop being my friend because they're like together. It's really cute. I love the dynamic because they're like one's like has a really like fluttering brain, and one's just like, oh yes, Rin, I don't understand you, but you talk some mad bullshit. Yeah, really absolutely beautiful age scene. Like I never thought an 18 visual novel could be this cathartic and this, and displayed such development. And then Rin's would really solve the problem I had with Emmy's route. Because they have an epilogue kind of thing. The epilogue where they climb up to the hills, see the dandelions and their seeds flowing past the grass. And Rin it ends in a very Rin-like way, right? Rin can never find the words to describe what she's feeling. But in the end, she kind of conveys the feeling she is feeling without describing the word, right? Like, Hisao, what's the word when you feel like in your heart, when you feel in your heart that everything in the world is all right? Like, what a line to end on. What a line to end on. Big smile, big ass smile on my face. That's me during the entire route. Like, what a line to end on. It is truly, I think, a beautiful story. Rin decides she wants to be herself. Like, she won't be like held back by anything. She embraces the world, and she wants to find her place in the world without being all isolated. And Hisao watches her, and he's the receiver. He's the receiver of her little blabberings, right? He thinks of her. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, you don't get to see Hisao's reaction, but like, I don't even care. It was a beautiful ending. We even got like Rin saying I love you, and then like, and Hisao goes like, oh. And like she says it in the most like a deadpan way. She doesn't like in a way that like doesn't feel very like confessional at all. It's just like and like Rin asks, "Hisao, do you love me?" Maybe, I don't know. Do you? I don't know. That's actually how that conversation goes. And it's so stupid, but it's also so great. Oh man, Karo Shoujo. If this is Ren's route, I don't know what ladies we're gonna do. I think if I ended Karo Shoujo just with Ren's route, I would be completely fine with it. It is such an amazing story, great story, probably one of the best examples of like visual novel storytelling. I don't think it's like super duper like innovative in terms of like, visual stuff. Like I'm a Type Moon fan. Type Moon is known for like high production visual novels, but Karo Shoujo, for the story tells, Rin's route especially right now, absolute banger. I remember this for times to come. Thank you whoever wrote him Rin's route. Such a beautiful story. Completely awesome. Like, I only wish I could experience it all over again. Actually, yeah, not a life-changing thing, but something I really enjoyed. I really loved. What else to say? Oh yeah, I have 3 more routes to go. I'm only 50% done, which means the rest of the routes will be very not as long at least. But yeah, I'm glad I finished these 2 routes. I felt like they were like a duology in a way, Emmy and Rin. And then I'll do season A, and then I'll do Hanako and Lily to finish off the duology. But yeah, I'm sure nobody I know in real life actually has read Karo Shoujo, except this one guy. I might like get him to read it, but he's reading fake right now. But take a while. But yeah, can't believe I'm thanking 4chan for making a visual novel. How crazy is that, right? But it's a miraculous story to be made. Yeah. No. when does a visual novel ever have necessary H scenes? Well, Katawa Shoujo has them. There we go. It's a long video. Thanks for listening. Nemesis out. Read Katawa Shoujo. Tell me who your favorite girl is so we can fight to the death at midnight with guns, swords, or fists. Anything shall do. Goodbye.